Do you only have one tattoo then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My first one was something on my back shoulder, and I still have it there. But I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of it or change it.
The first one?
Yeah. Because it's an ankh. You know what an ankh is? It's like a T with a little loop on top. It's Egyptian kind of hieroglyph. It means eternal life. And I think at 18, you think you're going to live forever. So I was like, that's perfect for an 18-year-old.
That's true.
I'm thinking back. I'm like, that's a perfect representation of who I was.
It's not the same symbol of Prince?
I think it's close. It's close to that. It's close to
The
that.
prince symbol is like an ankh with a bunch of extra tails and stuff.
And like it's like and purple and sparkly.
That's what you got, right?
That's exactly. I
That's
was like
right.
Prince, man.
Yep.
Little Red Corvette, right? What was the other song of his?
Purple rain.
Purple Rain. How did I forget that?
Raspberry beret.
All of them. They're all so good. Hi, Marian.
Yeah.
Hola.
Hola. Hola. Hello.
Hi,
Welcome to the Land of Enlightenment podcast. I am Oscar.
I'm Marian.
Hi, Maria. Again.
Again.
Yeah, and what I do is I typically have the guests introduce themselves. Tell me, who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am?
Who do you think you are?
I don't know. I think I'm a simple girl.
Oh,
You know,
dang.
like-
Okay.
I don't know, like a normal person that I just came from Spain and I came here to New Mexico because I wanted to go somewhere.
So wait, when did you come to New Mexico?
In September of 2008.
September 2008. And what were you doing in Spain before that?
I had 2 years in between that I was like in a transition, that I finished my bachelor's
Okay.
and I got my certification to teach, and I worked in a company for a while, and
Oh.
I was teaching classes as well.
What were you
So
teaching?
I was teaching English.
Oh, there you go.
And then I also was teaching, I was working like volunteering and doing different kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the meantime, I applied to come with a scholarship that is called Language Assistant.
Okay.
And they called me, I got a good number, I had many places to choose.
Mm-hmm.
But I chose New Mexico because of the sun.
Okay, what were the other
Because
choices?
I lived in London for a year, and
Oh, so
the weather was like, "Ugh."
You were tired, so you were tired of the rain and the clouds and.
More than anything, yeah, that it was always overcast.
Okay, always overcast, and that was like, what were the other choices then?
But I could have gone to the northern part of the U.S., like New York or something like that.
Okay.
Or I could have gone to Nebraska.
Oof,
Yeah.
that would have been rough.
Yeah. So one of the things why I chose to come here was one of the things is because I was working with UNM instead of working for a school.
Uh-huh.
Even though I was working for the National Hispanic Cultural Center.
Okay.
But I wasn't working with little kids.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel at that time I wanted to be more independent and I wanted to work in something else.
Okay.
So that was one of the reasons why. And the other reason was because I was like, I don't know what is in New Mexico, but it looks pretty sunny, so I'm going to go there.
So was it Google's around then? Yeah, definitely Google was around. Or was it Ask Jeeves? Or what was it? Did you Bing it? Google New Mexico before then?
No, you know what? I'm kind of strange in this thing. I don't like to know much about the places I'm going.
Oh, really? So you're not gonna, you just want to show up. You want to arrive and then just
Yeah.
That's
experience
very
it.
adventurous.
Yeah. 'Cause I
That's very
felt-
dangerous, as I said.
Adventurous.
Adventures. I was like, oh, well, that sounds dangerous potentially.
I look what it was
Yeah.
and everything, but it's not like I do like a full research about
Right.
this place I'm gonna go and every single thing I wanna see and everything, because I want, like to arrive there with no any like kind of form ideas in my head of what I'm gonna go and find.
Yeah.
I just want, like arrive there and let the experience speak,
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I'm kind of like that. Yeah.
Would you check to make sure her mic is on?
Yeah.
What's that? Do you not hear me?
Yeah, it's just, we can hear it, but it's just really distant.
Okay.
This
So it
is
might
the
just
same
be
thing
it.
that happened yesterday
With that
too.
same mic, I think is what it is.
So,
But I
yeah.
think it's fine.
So.
Do you
I
need
think-
me to speak louder?
I think what it is that I'm close to my mic. So maybe if
Yeah,
I just
maybe.
move a little further away.
Okay.
I upped the gain and the
Okay.
volume.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Cool. But yeah, so here's what I do is that I learn a little bit But when I arrive at a place, I don't do like the typical tourist stuff. I'm like, if I'm staying with friends, I'm like, what do you guys do?
Yeah.
What do you do? Like, where would you go? I want to do what the locals do more than anything.
For
But it's,
me-
I mean, it's very different.
I think it
Yeah.
depends. It depends because if I go to a place only for 4 days,
Yeah.
I want to see the highlights.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then maybe I want to, like see other things that I could do if I had, for sure, if I had somebody living
Yeah,
there, like,
yeah.
oh, what do you recommend?
Yeah.
But if I'm going to a place to live, I know I have plenty of time to see the highlights.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't worry about that.
Okay. And where have you lived?
But I haven't lived in that many places, but I lived in Dublin in Ireland.
Okay.
I lived in London. I
Mhm.
lived in Hattiesburg, Mississippi,
Yeah.
and here.
And here. That's a good amount of
And
places.
Spain.
And oh yeah, where you were born in Madrid.
Yeah,
Madrid.
Madrid.
Madrid. Is it Madrid is big.
It is big, but I'm from a little town that is like 20 minutes more or less in the car
Okay.
to downtown Madrid.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not a suburb because of how it's organized, you know.
Mhm.
But when I lived in London, I was supposed to be living in London, and I lived farther than I live in Madrid,
Mhm.
living in a town. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
London's organized really strangely though,
It's
because
because they're
London
like-
is just mostly just commercial.
it's rains. It's like, like
Right.
one rain, another rain, another
In
rain.
London.
Yeah. In
And then
London.
in Madrid, how is it organized?
But in Madrid, it's like only like downtown Madrid, and then maybe like all neighborhoods that they're
Mhm.
very close.
Yeah.
But then outside of that, then it starts being like towns.
Okay.
So not necessarily is, but it's also in circles because you have M30, M40, M50. Those are the roads
Yeah.
that the people take.
To get
So,
around the town.
M30 is like inside downtown Madrid.
Okay.
M40 is already, like I live M40.
Uh-huh.
So it's like already the outskirts,
Yeah.
and those are already towns. And then M50 are towns that they're a little bit farther.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've only been there for 2 nights, and I was just staying with a friend.
Oh.
And it was all right. I mean, I don't really get to experience
Alright.
it.
I know. I'm like.
I mean,
what?
it's all right. What I'm getting to is that it was all right. It was all right for what for how little time I was there.
Yeah, try to fix it now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to fix it now. I think my audio is a little high.
Is it?
Yeah. You want to bump that down,
So
maybe?
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what it is more than anything.
Maybe.
Yeah. But so yeah, it's no, I'll have to go back.
Definitely.
I'll have to go back. My time in Spain was in Granada, as I've told you before.
Yeah.
And Granada is a very special place, and it's a very small town. It's a college town, so there's not many people there in the summer. Whereas Madrid, there's people there all the time.
Well, Madrid is like, I would say, like any big city.
Yeah.
Like New York or
Yeah.
London. Or, when you are in a big city, life is different.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a foreigner living in a big city, you can either have a very good experience or it can be very hard because everybody have their own life. Everybody's busy,
Yeah.
When you live in a smaller place,
Yeah.
people are more willing to interact with
Okay.
all these people that came out, like.
Who are
everybody-
you? Like.
Everybody gets to know everyone, like in
Yeah.
an easier way. That's why, for example, I like living here in Albuquerque because even though Albuquerque is big, it feels like a big town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when I came here, soon after I already knew many places. I know how to
Mhm.
get around. But when I lived in London, I never felt like it was home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was very difficult to meet people. It was difficult to get around, and I'm a pretty social person.
Mhm.
So I think it's kind of hard.
So you need that, like, you need to have people around. You have to have friends and stuff like that.
Yeah. I need to
Yeah.
have friends, but like I remember this time I was in London, and it's the only time that I felt like I was like the loneliest because I was like having a bad moment, but I was surrounded by people
Yeah.
coming in and out, like kind of a movie scene,
Yeah.
Sure.
And then I was crying, and nobody ever stopped to say, "Hey, are you right?"
Nobody said anything.
Anybody say anything, and then I felt like so lonely in such a big
Oh.
city,
That's bad.
No, it's okay. It's like a movie scene, you know.
Yeah.
Sounds very, very.
So you're just like you're like
a movie.
that's okay because you felt like you were in a movie.
But it's okay because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right. Right. Well, yeah. There's a lot of that in life in general.
Yeah.
Okay. So you came to the U.S. to
Oh, I have a comment in chat that I'd like to share with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So our buddy Stu Blad, who's watching right now, he lives in the UK.
Mhm.
So he said London is a hard city to enjoy if you're alone, and especially in central London. It's so busy, there's so much going on, but it's somehow amazing that people just keep to themselves.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
Well, yeah, I think that happens in a lot of different. I mean, bigger cities typically.
Yeah. I mean, London has many good things as well. Like
Yeah. No, yeah, of course.
How to say this in English? Hold on. The cultural offer, like if you want to
Yeah.
see a play, if you want to go
Oh,
and see
yeah,
a museum,
yeah.
if you want to go to the cinema or see a show, or if you want to go a park, like so many parks, so many
There's
events
stuff
going
to
on,
do.
like, there is a lot of stuff to do.
There's stuff to do.
And it's a very pretty city.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
weather.
Well, I think I've gotten bad the weird kind of quirky sides to cities. The only time I've ever been in London, there was no rain.
That happens
Same.
to all the visitors.
me too.
Yeah, I was like, I was
there
like,
for 3 days.
and I was like, oh, there was no rain. I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. They're dumb. Rainy London, foggy. And I was like, I didn't get it. And then
Same thing with Seattle.
Seattle was
I was
just.
in Seattle for a week, didn't rain at all.
Oh no, Seattle. I've experienced the rain in Seattle, and in Seattle, I mean, it's not that far south. Portland's more mist in the air all the time. In Seattle, it's cold rain, like big drops
But
of
those
rain.
cities, when
Yeah.
when the sun is out, they're beautiful.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
everything is green.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy. Everybody's out.
Yeah, you're like, oh, we gotta get it while it's here. Give me some more.
Yeah.
It's like a drug.
Like vitamin D.
You gotta get me my vitamin D.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Did I just hear an
That
accent
was
or
me
something?
channeling my inner Minnesota.
You're not even from there. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So no. So okay. So you came here to Albuquerque with the expectation to just be here for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, when I came, I wanted to live. I was 25 at the time.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
oh, I'm growing all the way too fast.
Yeah.
I want to go and do something different. And this program, there was this scholarship, and it was a 9-month program. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that.
Mhm.
So then I can go abroad again for a while. And when I came here, land of entrapment.
Mm-hmm.
Did you try to leave?
No, I never tried to leave. Like, I came here, I had a wonderful time, I met wonderful people.
Okay.
That
When I
sounds
was
more
a-
like enchantment.
You got enchanted.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
entrapped. Right. Quote unquote.
So, no, for sure it's the land of enchantment.
Yeah, it really is. I'm the
So,
same way.
Just from the beginning, you were just like,
Yeah, I met a lot of people
Okay.
that had a very good, lifestyle, and I liked it, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready to go yet.
yeah.
So there was another program that I applied that is for visitors teachers.
Mhm.
And so I tried to apply to get my visa and come here as a high school teacher,
Yeah.
and I got it.
Okay.
Instead of in Albuquerque in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
So I used to commute every day for 3 years. And,
Wow.
That's a long
yeah, and I
time.
taught in Capitol High School.
At Capitol High School
Yeah,
for 3 years.
yeah.
That's cool. And when did you do when did you live in Mississippi?
2000, just right before Katrina, like in.
Oh, okay.
So it was 2004, 2005.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, so that's before you even came here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a long time
Oh,
ago.
okay.
Long time ago.
So that wasn't the first time in the States. A long time ago. Wow.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, in my day.
Well, that year for me is like one of those memorable years, like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was my first experience in the States. It was the first time I was going abroad
Yeah.
for so long.
Mhm.
The internet wasn't as quick and accessible as it's now.
Yeah.
So I tried to look for information about Mississippi. Nothing came out.
Yeah.
I went to the library, no much, and I was like having all these fantasies of, oh, maybe a land in this crop of corn,
Yeah.
and Bill comes with his overall in a tractor to pick me up in the airport. I don't know, like fantasizing. I didn't have a clue what I would find there,
Yeah.
So it was a very, I will never think I will have that moment of, I was 21 at the time.
Yeah.
I was coming with my plane ticket, my luggage. I sent a letter to see if I could have a host family.
Mhm.
Nobody replied, so it was the uncertain. Like I was crossing the ocean,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what I was going to see here.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any replies from my letters. So, and then I had a wonderful year. I met like wonderful friends.
Oh, good.
I love going to school there. I experienced like for me,
Uh-huh.
like the American, like university party.
Yeah.
Like, like also like in the movies.
Yeah.
So
The red
because
cups.
there were like fraternities and sororities and
Yeah,
like red
yeah.
cups and
The whole thing.
the whole thing. And then New Orleans was like 2 hours away, so we used to rent cars and go down to New Orleans all the time. And
That's one of the funniest things I ever heard from an exchange student, was that they would go to a house party in the States, and they would be like, "Oh, wow! Like they actually have those red Solo cups, like in the movies.
yeah,
It's like it's like in the movies. It's like
It
they would
was
freak
like-
out."
It was like in the movies, the size of the cars. Like for example, all those things like the boxes where you get the newspaper.
Yeah,
That things that they're like completely different from.
because they don't have those out there at
No,
all, right? So
no,
you're like,
no.
"Oh wow!" Like you're seeing it for the first time.
Yeah, how people was dressing. Everything was like so different. Like,
So it was like that. So it's like you were in a movie for you. You're like, "Oh, this is neat."
and it was really really cool. Like I met
Nice.
really cool people. I had
Yeah.
a great experience. When I first came, I didn't speak any English. Like my English was like, "Hello, how are you?" And then
Oh really? I'm sure it was better than. It was just inaudible.
And then,
That's probably like all of our Spanish, so.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
like it was. I could notice a big learning curve in my English, like how I went from not knowing anything to being able to talk to everyone and do everything and be able to manage myself in a place that it was totally unknown, that I didn't know how to play by the rules, that I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting.
And then, so I mean, but I think always when learning language, were you able to joke around? I think that's a big one. Once you start getting jokes and you're able to joke in a language, I think you're able to.
I never remember of not being able to joke.
Okay,
In
well
English, I started-
you have a great personality,
But
and
I
you're
think
just
it's also-
joking around all the time.
But I think it's also because I gesture a lot and,
Okay.
and everything. So I think even though maybe my communication skills or my fluency wasn't as good at the time, I always, went around. the
You
bush
figured it out.
and figured it out.
Body language.
Yes.
Okay, well that's good.
Because, I cannot live without jokes in my life.
No, constantly dropping jokes, guys. Always, it's hilarious. I have a blast with you. You just hack me up. Just sit there and laugh. It's just laughing. When did you get your master's?
I got my master's from 2012 to 2014
And here at UNM.
at UNM
And-
at the Spanish and Portuguese department.
What did you get your master's in? In Spanish linguistics?
Hispanic linguistics. yeah.
Hispanic linguistics. And now you're doing what?
Now I'm doing a PhD in educational linguistics.
Okay.
So it's for the Department of Language, Literacy, and Sociocultural Studies.
Okay, so what's the big difference between the two?
Oof, many.
Okay, tell me. List them.
I don't know. One thing is like, for example,
Yeah.
the master, I think it was great because I did it after working for 6 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like ready to study again. I
Yeah.
was like looking forward to learn. I had a great cohort when I joined the program. So I made so many friends. So I felt it was like something really refreshing in my life. Like
Yeah.
I was like craving like learning more, like doing something different, getting to know people, and I think that was great. I had great professors. I learned a lot. I changed my thought in many things.
Yeah.
Opened my eyes about things that I maybe wanted to do.
Yeah.
made many good friends that they're still my friends to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was a wonderful experience. Like, I went to conferences that I never been, so I felt like I was learning all the time, you know?
Yeah.
I think the difference with the PhD is that in the PhD, I already came from my master's. I went to a different program, so in this other program, everybody is like more independent.
Mhm.
So I don't have like as an established cohort.
Yeah.
Like I met people
Mhm.
that they are from my cohort, which I get along with, and I have some friends and everything. But in the end, everybody's having different paths.
Yeah.
Some people is going faster. Some other people is going slower. Some people are working during the day. Some people has children.
It's just all over the
so
place.
it's all
Yeah.
over the place. And then you're working on your own research.
Mm-hmm.
You are not as much as in the master. You're more like applying the concepts that you're learning in the class.
Yeah.
But then I think in the PhD you have to think more outside of the box.
Yeah.
And for me, being a very social person, the hardest part is how lonely I feel in the PhD.
Yeah.
Of like,
Mhm.
I don't have that the people to share what you're doing, or maybe you can have a friend that you can share something, but it's always all very specific.
I think you told me this about when you were studying for your comprehensive exams.
Yeah,
It was just very isolating.
Yeah, it's very isolating.
Yeah.
Like you are alone all day, writing in your thoughts. You don't know, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's I would say that most of the people that they're doing the PhD feel like that sooner or later.
Yeah.
That it's kind of lonely, and even though you can make good friends in the PhD, it's different because everyone is in a different.
They're doing their own.
path,
They're doing their own thing.
thing.
Yeah.
People are older. They, you know, like it's
Yeah.
just a different.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
start finishing and then they leave.
They leave.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
move somewhere else,
Yeah.
and then yeah.
Yeah, I told you about that one woman that's in year 8, right?
Yeah.
Of hers. I don't know how close she is, but she looks
Yeah.
she looks
I
tired.
hope to be done before I get to that point.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not that far from it, so.
Good. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure it can. But are you enjoying the research? Are you enjoying what you're learning? Are you seeing that you're like, this is totally worth it?
I think it depends on the day. It
Yeah.
depends on the
Okay.
day.
Okay.
Because it is more of your own research, your
Mhm.
own self-motivation.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on how motivated you are to learn and go to learn more. So I think I have learned a lot. And one thing that also the PhD teaches you is a lot about yourself,
Okay.
about how to organize yourself, about where are your limitations, about how to handle the stress, a lot of things. So
Mhm.
I don't think it is also, and that's a learning that you don't have in the masters, because the masters is more like a bachelor's, but you are doing it with more mature people. And then also the classes are smaller,
Yeah.
so the discussions are more interesting,
Mhm.
and I feel like, you know, like the people that you go to class with is like cool, you know, like
Yeah.
people are there to learn, so then it's really cool if you want to do that. When you are in the PhD, I feel like you are learning, but also you're learning a lot about yourself,
Yeah.
like dealing with different things in your life, you know.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's a little
That's
bit
what it is.
different.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm being redundant. I'm
No,
going
no,
in
no, no, no.
circles.
So what is your research again?
My research is in semantic neighborhood processing, and is with heritage and language and second language learners.
Okay.
And it's about vocabulary learning.
Okay.
So my idea is that it has like some pedagogical implications, and I can make some teaching materials to learn better vocabulary, or at least to in a more efficient way.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you always been kind of, you like language? Have you always been enamored by language and communication, how it all
Well,
works?
I love to talk. You notice?
Yeah.
I love linguistics.
Yeah.
Linguistics are fun, but I notice once you get more into the field that
Yeah.
you start liking more things than others. Like Linguistics are super interesting, but real linguistics are hard, are very hard. They're
Yeah.
the math of the language.
Right, right.
So I would say that maybe I like more the applied linguistics.
Mhm.
Such like right now I'm doing linguistics that they can be applied to the education,
Yeah.
or like second language acquisition, or sociolinguistics, not like
Yeah.
how language impacts society, or the other way around.
Mhm.
Those kind of things are like so cool to.
Yeah.
And it's not like the others are not cool,
Yeah.
but it's difficult.
It's difficult. Uh, sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. Just completely spaced. No, but I mean, I think language is very important, and I always find it interesting that, linguists, that's what I was going to say, linguists are always telling me that there's no one wrong way or one correct way to speak or say anything, which I always find really interesting because I remember growing up, I think a lot of it had to do with assimilating into this culture with my family.
Yeah.
They were like, you need to speak correctly. With English, there's a way to speak so people don't look at you like you're different. So with that said, like I became a perfectionist with language, and it wasn't until maybe the end of my first years of my master's degree that I really got ingrained in me that like how people talk or speak or whatever word they choose to say say that they say words, it is fine, and that there's no incorrect way of doing anything like that. And then there's no, like, you can go by the dictionary, but it's a word, and I think it varies, right?
Yeah, I also think, that there are like two main schools. Like one is more prescriptivist,
Yeah.
and it's more like following the rules. And here in UNM is more functionalist, so
Mhm.
they support more like the dialectal
Yeah.
variation and everything, no? But I would say that I would like to think that linguists in general are more open-minded, to having that variation, that different kind of language, that different registers and things like that, no?
And do you see any cool trends? Is there a hot topic in linguistics that a lot of people are just like, ooh, I want to, like with the undergrads, is there people like that really get people inspired or wanting to do this work?
But that's the thing that, like with the PhD, I feel a little bit more disconnected.
Right.
Because when I was in like the masters, I felt like
But you
sometimes
teach
have a
too,
class
right?
with someone, and yeah, I do teach, but I felt like when I was in the masters, I could see more like trendy things and coming out. But for example, I always, like I would like to, to do a study about hashtags.
Look at hashtags?
Yeah.
Okay.
How it's like changing communication.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, texting in general, it changes.
Well, the texting
With shorthand.
There's a lot.
There's a
I think
lot already.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And pragmatics, probably.
And how that's spilling over into actually spoken language, right?
Yeah, probably.
Right. The why I can't stand when people say V instead of the word very.
What?
Like that's
People
V
do that?
strange. I'm like, that's what?
What?
They're like very.
I've never
I'm like,
heard
I
that
missed the
before.
fucking boat. When did this happen? Like people stop.
You're getting
Or
old.
well,
I know, right? I totally
well,
feel
no,
that
well,
way.
also when I text, I type in the whole word. I'm one of those
Me
people that
too.
types the whole sentence,
Yeah,
the
me
whole
too.
word. I try not to do shorthand. I'll do shorthand with like LOL. That's about the extent of it, or with like K, okay.
Mhm.
But even then, I write okay. I don't know. Is that just old? I don't think so.
I do the
I
same
think it's
thing.
also a matter of preference, because
Yeah.
I also try to write everything, and even though when I write in Spanish, I try to write with accents and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes, I don't know, like I have fat fingers and I misspell, or
Oh, all the
or
time. I
like,
can't tell you how
yeah,
much.
but I don't, because it doesn't feel natural to me. Like
What's
I
that?
feel like texting.
Well, that's right. You're big on phone calls, which
Yeah.
I think is great. It's
Yeah,
just-
I'm big on phone calls. That's right.
But you're big on phone calls versus the texting.
I'm
Yeah.
big on phone calls first, and then when I'm texting,
Yeah.
if I have something that is gonna be back and forth, I'd rather call.
Yeah.
But then if I'm texting, it doesn't come natural to me to be texting like with all these what did you say? Shorthand?
Shorthands. Is that what it is? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
I call
I
it
guess.
shorthand.
Like BRB and shit like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for calling it shit. Anyways.
So I, don't,
Yeah.
I know how, like I know if somebody texts it to me,
Yeah.
that what it sounds like or what it means or whatever, but it sounds like it's somebody being smooth with me,
Yeah,
like
right.
trying to play cool.
With a shorthand? Oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, no need. There is
Yeah,
no
right.
need.
I had a funny
I never know what they are. So, like, I just learned what ICYMI means, like, just a few weeks ago.
hold on, let me think. ICYMY?
YMI. Yeah.
I no clue. Do you know what that is?
Say again?
ICYMI?
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
No.
In
What
case
you
you
doing
missed
and
it.
then?
In case you missed it.
Oh, in case you missed it.
I had seen it
Oh,
all over
I
the
saw
place,
one.
and
I
I'm
thought
like,
it was
I literally
like
have no idea what
one.
this means.
Is it what?
I had seen it everywhere, and I was like, I have no idea what this means.
Well, in case you
And
missed
I
it,
Googled it.
it
Yeah,
means,
right?
you know.
Yeah, and then there's like TIL, today I learned.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I just
A
learned.
lot of
I
it's
mean,
like Reddit.
it was less than a year ago that I learned what DIY meant.
Oh, really?
I was like, why is this everywhere? I'm like, oh, do
Yeah.
it yourself. That makes sense. Well, no, but in class today, I make the students read some stuff from the textbook, and it was JA, and she read it ja ja ja, and I'm like, actually it's ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And I said I do it sometimes. I mean, like I forget which language I'm speaking, and I'll
Yeah.
do like ha 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 in Spanish, and people will be asking why I'm saying ja 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 ja.
Yeah, my American friends at the beginning they crack up, or my Spanish friends
With
when
the other
I
one?
came back
Ah.
from Mississippi, no, and I would be like ah.
Because if you translate it, it's just the H is silent,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
just ah.
Totally.
Which is you're like, what are you trying to say here? But so it gets. So I mean, but talking about my class, my students do happen to ask at least 200 level. They ask all the time about linguistics like based questions. They want to know how the language works.
Yeah, I mean they do ask me a
Yeah.
lot of times things like,
They're like, why?
why do you say this and not this other thing, or
Yeah.
like the other day somebody asked me about like the structure the que, why you had to have the que, and why that was different or whatever, no?
Mhm.
So I try to do my best to explain to her, and I always try to explain to them like, because here I'm from Spain, so one thing that kills me, people are, oh, you're from Spain, so you talk like, you do talk the proper Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've
I'm
heard that
like,
before.
Yeah.
I do talk Spanish, but I just talk like a kind of Spanish. All kind of Spanish is proper, And then people says, and you have a lisp. And I'm like, no, I don't have a lisp. I don't say gracias. I say gracias.
Mm-hmm.
So I just make a
It
difference.
says ceseo and a ceseo,
Yeah,
right?
I
Yeah.
make a difference between C and S.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lisp, and then they tell me all this story about my lisp, and then I'm like, no, it's not because of that. Let me explain you.
Well, there's another
Like
one.
Historical linguistics here.
Right.
People always tell me they think it's funny, and I'm like, I play it up as a joke that in Spanish there's a reason that there's an E before every S, right?
We cannot pronounce.
So you can't pronounce just the S at the beginning.
No, that's why I say I'm from
Spain, right? Like Sprite,
Mhm.
right? And you hear it all the time.
Mhm.
And people are just like, what? Why can't they pronounce it correctly? And I'm just like, that's just how they say it, man.
Well,
And that's they were trained. The tongue was trained to do that.
Spanish is also a syllabic language,
Mhm.
and then in English, it's more consonants. You can have like consonant sounds by itself,
Yeah.
but in Spanish you always go consonant vowel, consonant vowel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, what would be a good one in English? I don't know. That's consonant. That's very difficult. I mean, yeah.
For me, what is
well,
very
just
difficult to pronounce is the word sheet, like a sheet of paper.
Oh.
No caca.
I was like, wait, what? You just said it. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, you
I was
didn't
like,
mean
no,
that.
that was perfect. perfect.
What are you talking about? Sheet.
Yeah.
Shit. That combination between that vowel and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
H. Ooh. No.
So, do you get a lot of strange looks?
I just
Or just a
avoid-
piece of paper?
I just avoid that word.
Do you say
I just
piece?
say piece of paper, linens, whatever. But I avoid the word.
Can you just pass me that? So I think that'd be hilarious. I would love to be around you when I heard this and you just dropped it. I'm sure but I'm sure it gets annoying. I mean, it happens with me in my Spanish because my Spanish is, although it's my native tongue, my dominant language is English.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I do have the accent, and there's things I have difficulty pronouncing in Spanish. So I feel super self-conscious about it, and I get like really hot when I say it, and I'm just like, oh, I didn't say that correctly.
I used to get like really self-conscious
Yeah.
about my accent because, if you can notice, here for 9 years I'm with the biggest accent, you know.
Yeah.
And I used to get like really self-conscious because, besides it happens to me sometimes that people notice that I have an accent and right away they are like, oh, I don't understand you, you know. So I'm like, you can't understand me like normally people do, you know.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
since I came here in the States, oh, your accent is sexy, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
embrace it, you know. Or
Yeah.
somebody says, oh, where are you from? Or that's cool. But the thing is that I cannot do anything to get rid of this accent because I tried, but it is hard for me.
Don't
It's hard,
bother.
Well, do you
know?
think there's gonna? I mean, I don't know. I met a woman the other day. She was my Uber driver to the airport, and she's like, "Oh, I used to live in Portland." I'm like, "Oh, great. Are you born there?" She's like, "No, I was born in Germany." I said, "Oh, okay. When did you move from Germany?" She's like, "When I was 18." But she had the best, like, the clearest American accent.
Wow.
And I don't know if it was because if it was a German transition to the English, but I could not tell.
That could also be just an ability, you know, because, for example, I have a friend of mine that we started learning English at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and then he talks like somebody from Leeds, from the northern of England,
Yeah.
because he lived there for a year and he picked up the accent like, and he has like a really British accent that people think that he's from there.
Do you pick up other people's accents?
Like if I know where they're from.
Well, if you hear it, I ask because I do it, and a lot of people think I'm making fun of them, but I don't mean to.
I do that too.
Or if I'm hearing, even if it's a British accent or in both either language,
Yeah, I do.
I'll just immediately just default into that accent.
Oh.
And then I'll be like, I'll start speaking to you in a Spanish accent if I'm not constantly like trying not to.
Yeah, I don't think if
You
no,
don't do
I
it?
would have a better accent and speak in English, you know.
Can you try like your best American accent?
No,
No.
that makes me embarrassed.
Every person, every European at least I ever ask, or anybody, any from any country, they always default into a Texan accent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, well, yeah, in Texas, I don't know, it's stuff like that, and I'm just like, why Texas, dude? She's a better one, man.
Yeah, but I think Texas is like the most like noticeable one.
Right, so it's the one that you can it's easy to replicate.
I guess so, yeah.
You can do a surfer, dude. Or what's New York? I don't know how to do New York. I know Boston.
Yeah, New York's actually kind of similar.
What's Brooklyn? Brooklyn?
Yeah,
It's
but
a
it's a lot of like qual.
Cool.
I'm gonna call you.
Cool. Yeah, that's my
If
Jersey.
If I
Jazzy.
hear someone talking like with a different accent, a lot of times I'm able to say, oh, this person is from here or from there. Blah,
Yeah.
blah. But then it's hard for me to imitate.
Is there an accent you like? Like you're attracted to?
No, actually I don't have like,
Oh.
people are like, oh, this accent or this other accent.
Yeah, man.
No, I mean, I think it's really nice when somebody is trying to speak, for example, in Spanish. You know,
Mhm.
like, I think that's so sweet that even though if it has like the most horrible accent, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, you know. But I never had that.
I don't know. I'm sure if I heard a really bad one, it'd be like, okay, that's
Well,
just.
the other thing is that I can laugh too.
Okay. So you're just enjoying it. You're entertained.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I never felt like an
Yeah.
attraction to accents. I don't know.
Oh no, so it's not a defining marker. So like,
No.
Okay. Okay.
Like some people are like, oh yeah, Argentinos, the Argentinians.
Oh man, that one's too much for me. I can hear it, but it's too. It wears me down. The Argentine accent.
Yeah.
I don't know. The shh all the time. Nothing against Argentine people.
Yeah.
They're great, but that one wears me down. The Spanish one I love. The Spanish accent I think is great.
I think it sounds very harsh.
The Spanish one?
Yeah.
I like them. I like the Scottish and Irish accents too, though. I think
Scottish is cool. I like it.
It's
Scottish,
hard.
Oscar, Scottish.
You're just doing your best Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery is
The
not from
rapist for 200,
Wales. Sean
Trebek.
Connery is not from Wales.
He might be from Wales.
Is he? But everyone associates it with
He
Scottish.
does. Let me Google.
So look it up. No, it's Scottish.
I'm not sure.
I think it's Sean Connery. What is it? I just always default into the Saturday Night Live impression.
Yeah,
It's like suck it, Trebek.
He is from Fountain Bridge, which is an area of Edinburgh.
It's in
Okay.
Scotland.
Yep.
Scotland.
Scottish. Yeah, and then the Irish.
Dennis, maybe I thought Anthony Hopkins maybe is from Wales.
Yeah.
So is Catherine Zeta-Jones, which is a great American accent too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No. There's a colleague of mine, Polly Sai. She's Japanese-born, Japanese mother, German father. I thought she was lying to me when she said she was an American. I could not tell. I was like, you're lying. Like,
But
stop.
when did she come here?
A year ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She came here a year ago.
But I think sometimes it's like the ability when somebody has the ability like to imitate
Yeah.
or to sing well. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, like, I envy it a little bit. But at the same time, like, I think I like the idea of, like, oh, there's no one way to speak or
I
perfect
just
way.
think when you are a baby, you know, like when you're a baby, you are supposed to be able to speak any language of the world.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
then, you know, you are like selecting
Yeah.
auditory, you know, like you are selecting the most frequent sounds
Yeah.
that you're
Yeah.
gonna use.
Yeah.
And then you are like focusing on those sounds. And then
Right.
Yeah.
that's why later there are some sounds that you are not able to pronounce because I think you are not able to hear those sounds anymore. you
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
And probably your palate, your mouth, everything has formed.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, there's a
So-
name for that theory, isn't there?
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is.
Is there a lot of, I mean, is
I think it's acoustic discrimination. No?
Sure, okay.
is there an ability, is there muscle memory in your tongue that makes it easier to kind of pick up languages that you maybe lost earlier? Like, say if you grew up with Spanish because of your babysitter or your childcare, and then you lose it over time, and does it become easier to pick that back up because of cognitive reasons, or is it also physical?
I think it would be both.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would be both. I think that's what happens here with a lot of like passive bilinguals, right? That
Mhm.
they have taught Spanish as the first language the first 5 years of their life.
Yeah.
And then English becomes their dominant language, and then they start speaking Spanish, but they still have the sounds. And
Okay.
Hmm.
They remember words and everything, you know. Because
Well, can you tell me why I immediately want to default into a Spanish accent in general? That's like even not just with Spanish people, but that's the one even though I grew up with the Mexican one, I feel like it's easier to speak in the español.
Español.
No, no español, español.
Ah.
Perdón, sorry. Not
Not
Not,
español.
okay.
Uh,
Would there be a reason for that? I don't think so, right? A cognitive one, I'm sure. But who knows? I think it's just easier for me to speak that way. I'm just asking. I'm asking you to just, why am I so weird? I'm just
maybe
kidding.
you're not that weird. I just
I'm not
think
weird. I'm
that-
just, I have my preferences.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe you just do it because unconsciously you prefer that accent. So.
I think that's what it is.
And
Yeah.
people tries to imitate
Yeah.
things that they think is cooler, you know.
Yeah. Also,
Also all this linguistic accommodation of trying, you know, like maybe all your friends are, you know, from Spain. You had good friends. From
I had a lot of
Spain,
really good friends from
and then
Spain
you
for a
spend
long
lot
time.
Of time with them,
Yeah.
so you want to build solidarity.
Erin,
and then
our mutual friend
Erin-
Erin, Spanish
Erin-
accent.
She speaks like she's from Spain.
Yeah.
All the time they ask
Yeah.
her, "Are you from
American girl.
Spain?"
Yeah.
And she has like perfect accent now.
Yeah, Spanish accent. And I was like, how did you do that? Because she learned Spanish here.
She did.
But then
learn
she
Spanish
traveled
here,
abroad.
But then she traveled abroad, but still, you know, her
Yeah.
accent is really good.
Yeah. So, okay, so something that I wanted to ask you and just remembered was that you're Spanish, from
Yeah.
Spain.
Mhm.
You're living in New Mexico.
Uh-huh.
Do you get a lot of people telling you, "Oh, I'm Spanish"?
Oh, a lot of people.
A lot of people, when, I mean, not to discount that their ancestry is not Spanish or anything, but a lot of people telling you this stuff. Does that ever kind of come to you and you're just like, man, like, you're kind of taking my culture and changing it, or it's
No,
up to them?
it's up to them because
Yeah.
in reality, you feel that you are who you are and you are
Okay.
the one that have to say who you are. I'm not gonna come here to say how you and all your family identify yourself or what are your roots or
Yeah.
if you are proud to have Spanish roots, I'm like, that's awesome and I
Cool.
wanna learn about it and
Cool. Yeah.
tell me what you
Yeah.
know from Spain and
Yeah. People were surprised that they didn't eat green chili out there.
yeah, well, no spicy food in general.
No, 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 no. You had Tabasco in the supermarkets, and that was the hottest thing.
Yeah, and we have, pimientos de padrón that we say some are spicy and others are not. But we are not like
Spicy people.
spicy people. Like Mexican culture.
No.
Well, spicy people we are.
Spicy.
Fast.
Right.
No, they're calientes, not spicy.
Ahí está.
Okay.
Tenemos gracia.
They have grace. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do, because you have the flamenco, right, which is a very passionate, very intense dance and music, right, which comes from southern Spain, really.
Yeah.
But also in Spain, there's so many regions. There's also different. I mean, Spanish as we know it is Castellano, but then there's different regions and different languages in Spain itself.
Yeah, there is like Euskera that is from the Basque region.
Euskera,
Catalan.
Catalan, which is
and
like more
Gallego,
Barcelona,
and
right?
Gallego.
And Gallego.
Bueno, but in the islands like Menorca,
Mm-hmm.
they speak Menorquin that is like Catalan.
It's like what's that Catalan?
Yeah, there is this phrase in linguistics that I like that
Mhm.
it says the difference between a language and a dialect is an army. So,
Oh,
so
okay.
in reality, sometimes it's hard because somebody would say, "Oh, this is a language," but official languages in Spain are Euskera, Catalan, Gallego, and Español.
So there's official languages.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then it was just Castilla, the Kingdom of Castilla, that's the one that ended up ruling and spreading its culture, right? Or its language. Is that what it was? It was pretty much what it was? That's why we speak what we know as Spanish today in Latin America? Was there not? I mean, I'm asked. You're not a historian, so.
But that's a hard question to ask because I think the Spanish that is spoken here is because like in 1492, like all the ships that they came from different parts of Spain, and
Mhm.
then they went to the south of Spain, and then this linguistic accommodation of people coming from different parts. When they came here, they tried to look for whatever it was the easiest
Language to kind of.
language or no, but maybe pronunciation or
Mhm.
you find you make you accommodate and then we're gonna understand each other.
Yeah.
So but then I think that now Spanish I think Spanish became really strong in Spain because also the period of the dictatorship as well.
Oh,
Where
right.
there was oppression with the minority languages such as Euskera or
Okay.
Gallego or Catalan, which are languages that they have always existed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the dictatorship has a lot to do with how it's done now, with why
Yeah, and I think
Castellano.
it has changed with politics as well
Of
and
course.
everything,
Of course.
but I don't know. But the Spanish that is spoken here, I just think it is like that. People came from Spain from different parts.
Yeah.
They tried to use the linguistic variables that
Yeah.
everybody could understand and everybody could pronounce.
Yeah.
And so the language evolved. And
Okay.
then evolved here, and then there was probably a mixture with other
Yeah.
languages that they were here. In fact, in Mexico, there are words that they come from the Nahuatl or
Mhm.
something else,
Mhm.
things.
They just
Yeah.
mix in, right? Cool. We should talk about the Cine Magnifico.
Okay.
Let's do that. I'm curious. How did you get involved with this? Which is this?
Yeah.
Tell me when I'm filling the frame.
Oh, you're close. Keep going. Keep going. There you go.
All right. Okay, now I know. right here.
Yep.
Okay. How did you get involved with this? This is the fifth edition, fifth year. What? How did you get involved with it, and what is it?
Well, I got involved with this because since I came here, I worked as a part-time teacher with the Instituto Cervantes.
Okay, at New Mexico Hispanic Cultural Center, or the
Yes.
National Hispanic
Yes.
Cultural Center.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so one of my friends works there too, and this is our fifth year.
Uh-huh.
So when she started, she wanted to create this project of a Latin, like a Latin film festival, and she started the project. And the first year I helped her as a volunteer,
Mhm.
and then after that she hired me to be there, to be like in charge of the screening or
Yeah.
choosing movies or whatever we had to do. So I've been working with her the last 5 years, and she's the director of the project.
She's the director, and you're the film programmer.
Yeah,
And that just
yeah.
means that you get to watch movies and pick which one
But
is screened.
that means that I get to watch a lot of movies, which sounds good, but when you have to watch a lot every day,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes it's like, wow, like to get like,
But you have to track down the movies too,
yeah.
because it's hard to get access to it.
Yeah, see, I have to talk to the distributors, so
Yeah.
I have to look at the film festivals, do research, look what movies came out, because what we try to do is to bring films that they are not in online platforms,
Uh-huh.
that they haven't been screened in the state yet, that they are brand new, that
So
they
they're
are from
new,
different
yeah.
Latin American countries and Spain, that they have different topics. So we have a lot of different criteria that we want for these movies.
Spanish language only, or Portuguese,
We always have a Brazilian.
a Brazilian one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Brazilian or Portuguese.
Okay.
Mostly it's like, from Argentina, Mexico, Peru.
The big
Spain,
film
whatever.
producers.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we get in contact with the distributors. We see this is a non-profit organization, so
Mhm.
we don't have a lot of money to do this. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So we also have grants, and then
Okay.
we have to see what movies we can bring. We also like to bring directors and
Yeah.
to bring if we can an actor, or we try to bring like a guest speaker. We try to do
Mm.
different things. Like this year, we're gonna have a cooking workshop
Yeah,
on
that sounds super
Saturday.
fun.
What are you gonna make?
So on Saturday we have this documentary that is called
Mm.
Vidas con Sabor,
Yeah,
and then
it's
after,
lives with flavor.
Flavor.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then after we will have a culinary class to support that. And
Cool.
we always try to mix everything, like have children movies, have something social, have something funny.
And it just keeps growing and growing
like
every year.
we're having these, and some of them are free, some of them you have to pay for them. We're screening one free at Global Kirky,
Mhm.
that is called El Ciudadano Ilustre, one free at UNM, that is
Mhm.
Somos Lengua, that is about freestyling, like when like hip hop.
A freestyle rap.
Okay.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So is there themes every year, or is just anything from Latin America?
Well, like I said, the main, I would say the main requirement is that they're brand new films
Mhm.
from the year. So they are like either 2016 or 2017.
Okay.
We try to bring films that they are like in festivals, that they have many awards, that
Okay.
they haven't been here, that
Yeah.
there are no online platforms. So
So you're gonna have like an experience watching a brand new film, if you're getting to do this. You're gonna be that cool kid that gets to talk about the cool new movie that nobody
Yeah.
else has seen.
sometimes
Yeah.
they are like really. Sometimes they just came in a festival, like they're like it was an Oscar award.
Mm-hmm.
That is the awards for no Oscar award,
Yeah.
Goya award, or they were like in the Berlin festival,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Guadalajara
yeah.
festival,
Mhm.
or something like that. Some other times we talk to distributors and they are like, hey, we have this new movie.
Yeah.
We'll pass it to you. Some other times we want this movie and they're like, we want it first to be in a big festival, and then if you want it, we can give it to you next year.
Mhm.
So those are the things that you have to see too. We also support local film.
Mm-hmm.
And for example,
cool.
this year we are opening with short films. And
Nice. I was gonna ask you.
yeah, some of the short films are from here, from New Mexico, filmmakers. We always have New Mexican filmmakers in.
And
Bay
they're in
Area.
Spanish, right?
The films are in Spanish, but all of them come with English subtitles.
Okay. Well, I mean, how do you collect those local ones, those local submissions? Is
Well,
it
they
like
can
a?
drop in the office. They can come and drop their
Oh.
short film. They can do
Yeah.
it through the website at www.cinemagnifico.com.
Mhm.
They can do it through Facebook. So you can do it through different platforms. You can get in touch and say, hey, I have this film. I would like you to look at it. And then, we
Mhm.
see and then we select.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I don't know, I think I've watched like around 200 films.
Wow.
Between short films and feature films, and and we are a comedy.
So you're really not getting paid for this. Are you getting paid for any of this?
Yeah.
Personally, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I am.
I was gonna be like, wow, that's a lot of work to put in for
yeah,
like,
no,
you
no,
know.
I am.
Yeah.
But normally, like I said, this is a non-profit organization, so most of the money goes into doing this festival this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And keep trying to have this project going, and because we want people to be more familiar with Latin American culture,
Mhm.
and not only having this image of American culture being like rough and social, but a little bit of everything, because
Yeah.
there is a little bit of everything. Like the Brazilian movie that we have this year is a comedy,
Oh, nice.
so
Cool.
Cool.
some other times we have like social. We try to balance it out.
So it's not just this whole like, oh, super serious film critic kind of like festival where it's a bunch of film snobs.
We try to do it for all the publics.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So we have to have some movies that are a little bit more commercial, some movies are a little bit more historical, some movies are
Yeah.
a little bit more, social, because not everyone likes to go and watch a film that is like, I don't know. For example, last year we had, the opening was like the Goya Award that was called La Novia, that was based on Bodas de Sangre, that is a book by Federico García Lorca.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like really impressive, with all the photography and everything. But not everybody's into that.
Yeah.
Not everybody's into that kind of.
Not a lot of people know the
film,
technical stuff
and
of film.
maybe they want something more commercial. And,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
we wanna open for everybody to
That's cool.
to come and see different movies and see what they like, and
What days is it? It's gonna be
It's from September 14th to the 17th.
September 14th.
And we having movies from different places like Argentina, Mexico, Honduras, Spain, Chile,
Okay.
with different topics. And then in the website you can see the synopsis, so you can see the one that you like the most. Some of them are at the National Hispanic Cultural Center, some of them at the Guild.
Mm-hmm.
We will also have, after the opening night, a party at the Rio Bravo Brewing with
Cool.
with the Reviva, with the
Yeah, the band.
the band.
Okay.
And
Some live
we'll
music.
also we'll have another after party in El Bosque on Saturday. So there is like different events.
It's
Or we
interactive.
can-
You get to hang out with the people. Everyone gets to
Yeah.
be a part of it. That's cool.
And we want
Yeah.
more people, to be aware of this event. So hopefully, we can
Yeah.
become a little bit bigger,
Well, it's always good. No, it's always good to, and I think the film. I mean, I love film, right? I got my undergrad in it, and I love Latin American film specifically. There's so much to offer, and a lot of people focus on European stuff, and not so much Latin American stuff. And I think Latin American film, from my experience, carries more weight, emotional weight sometimes. So I think it's more moving to an extent, in my experience. But it's also been a while since I've sat down and watched some good Latin American film.
I like to watch all kind of films
Yeah.
because sometimes, even though I feel like Latin American or American films or European films are looked from this Occidental point of view,
Yeah.
And sometimes I like to watch like really different movies.
Mhm.
Maybe they are from Mongolia or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
They don't have like
Eastern
maybe,
or Asian like films, their
yeah.
storytelling is different.
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
doesn't have maybe like the same kind of pattern of.
They don't at all, and which is, I mean, and they have very interesting films because of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is a cool festival. If you're out and about next weekend,
Yeah.
right? Next weekend, September 14th through the 17th. You can go to Magnifico, cinemagnifico.com to check it out. And you'll be there.
I'll be there.
You
I'll
wanna
be
go
there
see?
all weekend.
I'm psyched for that culinary
You're gonna see
class.
it. Yeah, the cooking
Yeah.
class. It should be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For inviting me.
If you guys have any questions,
Now I'm a little bit concerned about my comments. I'm like, I hope I didn't say anything.
No, you
no. If you guys are interested, contact. It's Land of Enlightenment podcast at gmail.com. Land of Enlightenment on Instagram. And I'll pull up your social media if you want, maybe your Instagram handle in the links that follow. And yeah, man, thank you so much again.
Thank you
And
guys
KY
for having me.
Productions,
Yeah, thank you for being
kyproductions.com. Go there and you find all the links. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.